soul family. I hope everybody's doing all right. So, I know I said that the next video I was probably going to talk about religion and spirituality and kind of like who is God type of video. That's what I wanted to do. But I've been thinking a lot about divine feminine and divine masculine energy. I've been thinking about it a lot for a while now. So that's what I want to talk about. So first of all, we all have masculine and feminine energy. And it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. It's not about that. It's about the balance of these energies. The balance of the feminine and masculine energies within all of us. Now, when these energies are out of balance, we experience difficulties and inner conflict on an emotional level. And on a greater scale, society as a whole will experience, with an imbalance, will experience conflict and power struggles. And that's what we see going on in society now. Now, masculine energy is more of an outward type of energy. It's an energy of security, strength, positive action, and it's more of a giving type of energy. And then feminine energy is more of an inward type of energy. It's an energy of being gentle, nurturing, and patient. It's more of an inward or more of a receiving type of energy. Rather than a giving energy, is more of a receiving type of energy. Now, the traits of the divine masculine is being rational, logic, firmness, and survival. And the traits of the divine feminine is intuition, healing, wisdom, and emotions. Divine feminine energy, it's windy. I hope it's not like too much wind, but divine feminine energy allows us to be caring and loving, and it's very powerful in that way. When it comes down to wounded feminine has the energy of being more desperate and needy. And the wounded feminine, that comes from trauma, childhood trauma we've experienced in life. The divine masculine allows the energy of doing, getting things done, doing decisive action, and not violent or like overly aggressive. That's like a label that's been kind of like put on the masculine energy, all of the aggression. But it's more of decisive action. Wounded masculine would be, a wounded masculine is someone that would create conflict rather than not necessarily responding to conflict, but create conflict. And that's due to the need to feel like they need to prove themselves. And like I said, that wounded masculine and that wounded feminine energy, that comes from trauma throughout life. Now, how the divine masculine and divine feminine balance each other is because the divine masculine can receive the intuitive wisdom of the divine feminine, which makes them even more powerful. And we, divine feminine, we have the power. We have power to like calm the beast and kind of like be a place of peace. That's the power that we have if we really would embrace it. I believe we will get back to it. I believe we're getting there. It's just that it's been done on purpose. The imbalance has been created on purpose, which I'm sure many of you know because you're very intelligent. Many of you you're younger than me and you be schooling me sometimes. But we're aware of it. As long as we're aware of it, we can have the courage to speak on it when we need to, when it comes down to our own lives and things that we see in the world. As we continue to speak on it, we'll get back to that place of balance. There's a lot of things that have been done to create this imbalance, and I've seen it. We see it in society. We see it everywhere. And here's an example. There's a show I was watching one time, and I'm not going to say any names. I don't want no problems. I don't want no drama. But there's a show I was watching. It was like a couple show. And this young lady, I guess her boyfriend said something she didn't like. And there was this dish of apples on the table. And she just started launching these apples at him and hitting him in the head with apples and, just throwing them at him. And he didn't do anything. But then later on, they were all sitting down and they were having this discussion. And she said something. Now, obviously, he's still kind of worked up and annoyed over her doing that. And so they were sitting down having a discussion. And she said something that just kind of made him snap. And he jacked her up. Like he grabbed her shirt and jacked her up. Now, after he did that, he got kicked out of the place. He had to apologize. There was this whole big thing about how a man should never hit a woman, in which they shouldn't. A man should never hit a woman. But a woman shouldn't be hitting a man either. And nobody, not even, there were therapists there. Not one person said, you were wrong for throwing those apples at him, for hitting him with those apples. It was like nothing was said about that. Listen, she wasn't throwing teddy bears at him, okay? Last I checked, if somebody throw an apple and hit me in the head with an apple, that's gonna hurt. And that's assault, okay? But nothing was said to her. She was the victim. And I just had, okay, let me turn this shit off, because that was just disturbing. And it's messed up. What's happening, it seems like it's more, like the men are being more attacked. And there's this imbalance is being created where women act out in these aggressive ways, and nobody tells them that this is not how you should behave. Nobody should be hitting anybody. I don't care if it's two women, two men. You shouldn't be hitting each other. That's what conversation and communication is all about. And if you can't communicate with somebody without being violent and hitting them, then you need to go and work on yourself, and you don't need to be with them. That's probably the best thing to do. Throughout life, we sometimes the way we are raised, the things that we go through, women have had to kind of like take the place for men in a lot of situations. So I understand how the imbalance happens. But we really need to acknowledge it and work on ourselves. That's where the healing and the balance takes place. I grew up with 5 brothers and 1 sister and my dad, and I didn't have my mom. So I was a wild child. I was a tomboy. I was running around with no shoes on, racing in the street, climbing trees. I was wild. But along the way, I didn't allow society to change me on an extreme level. I know there has been some imbalances, even with me throughout life, but we have to not allow the outer world to influence us, to just steer away from our natural, just our natural gifts, who we are naturally. And like I said, I know that it's going to take some time. I think it's changing. You all, the younger generation, as you all, we're in this information age where you learn and you're able to pass that down to the generations to come. And so it's going to take time, but I feel like it'll work. I feel like we'll get there. This is a short video, but I do want to say something before I end the video. I want to, somebody might need to hear this. If you are someone who is trying to embrace and balance your masculine and feminine energy, and you're involved with someone who isn't even trying to work on themselves, move on. I know it's harder for some to move on than others. Libras, we know how to move on. We know how to move on, but there's a lot of people that don't know how to, and it's hard. But one thing you got to keep in mind is that you will not be rewarded for not looking out for yourself. Like I was saying in the last video where I said don't stay in relationships for children or for, you know, any of these other reasons. You're not doing your kids any favors by, except you're just showing them how to have dysfunctional relationships. But you will not be rewarded for not loving yourself or doing what you think is being loyal, but you're not being loyal to yourself. You'll not be rewarded for that. As a matter of fact, I think you will be punished. And it might sound harsh, but I do think you will be punished for not loving yourself and not putting yourself first or taking care of yourself. You're important too. So it's not just about mistreating others and doing wrong to others. You're doing wrong to yourself if you allow yourself to stay in a place that is not helping you grow. It's not helping you evolve. Toxic situations. You're not doing yourself any favors. You're hurting yourself. So why would the higher powers reward you for hurting yourself? You're important too. So if you're in a situation where you are not able to embrace and balance your energies and be the best that you can be, move on. You will not be rewarded. You will not be rewarded for doing what you think is being loyal. Do not stay with someone for them. You don't stay with a person for that person. It's not your job to fix anybody. And as a matter of fact, you can't fix them. I don't care how hard you try, you can't fix them. That's an inside job. Only they have the power to fix themselves. So that's it. I'm about to sit out here and vibe with nature and become one with nature for a little while, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace and blessings.